Hi guys, welcome back to Nasedyanka, the channel where I talk about Bulgarian history, culture and faith. So in this episode, I'm going to share with you the Holy Martyr Alexander from Gorna Dikanya and his son Stefan, whom we commemorated recently in the Bulgarian Orthodox Church. He is a canonized saint who was murdered by the Communist Party on October 6th, 1944. That's new calendar. As those of you who follow me already know, I do add 14 days to those dates in order to follow the appropriate Old Church calendar, which is the correct calendar. Well, that falls to be on the 20th. So here's the information. Father Alexander was a priest who served in the village that's called Gorna Dikanya, which is a region called Pernik, Bulgaria. With his inspirational sermons, he basically taught about how godlessness turns people into cruel and evil humans. For this reason, the communists plotted to kill him. And let's remember that the communists identified themselves as godless, Christ-hating party. This is not a judgment. But this is a fact. That's how they describe themselves. Now, their actions, many of them, of course, can't put everybody under the same denominator, but that was the party that overcame Bulgaria. Their actions speak of their energy. So let's see. On October the 5th of 1944, together with other, chosen ones from the village, he was taken away to the region of Shalamanitsa. One of his sons was also among those individuals that were taken away. His son's name was Stefan. On way to the frontal area, the executioners rode the priest like an animal, so that he would carry them. Thinking how filthy that is. I'm just thinking how filthy and gross that is on behalf of the Communist Party. When they approached the forest, Father Alexander called his son to come nearer, so he whispered something to him. The murderers asked what he told him, and his son Stefan responded to them that he did not hear. At that point, one of them yelled at him humiliatingly, something like, now I'll show you, now you'll get to hear. And he cut off his ear. They killed Stefan because he was a witness of the evil deed, I should say, of the evil crime. In Bulgarian language, the word is zlodeyanie, and as I've mentioned to you guys, Bulgarian words are very in-depth, complex. They speak to the point of what we're trying to say. So zlodeyanie is coming from two roots here. Zlo is evil, deyanie is doing. So evil doing, evil deed. That's a crime, basically. The individuals that the communist brutes had brought over to this place were around 20. It took some time of torture. So from 12 o'clock all the way until 4 o'clock a.m., people were able to hear terrifying screams and screeches from a distance. The communists beat out their teeth, they cut out their ears, their noses, and so forth. After they murdered them, they also stole their clothes and buried them only 20 centimeters beneath the earth. 3 days later, the mayor of that region gave permission to their loved ones to actually bury them appropriately in the village graveyard. Father Alexander's podvik, like we say, podvik of martyrdom, or like feat of martyrdom, but we call it a podvik, together with his son Stefan, is unique, and it bears no comparison in Bulgaria's modern, updated martyrology. In the new history of Bulgarian martyrs, this is a unique case. His son followed his father out of obedience, just listening to his mom's advice, as she was hoping that he would be able to help his dad in some kind of a way, but he himself, the son, became victim to the villains, of course, the communists, who had lost their, we say, image and likeness in God, right? Their image in God. We're all created in the image and likeness of God, but people lose, we say actually безобразявам, we lose that image when we commit evil acts. And energetically, there are many ways in which you can also prove that kind of stuff, because the deeds, the actions reflect in our bodies. You can see somebody who is sad, you can see it on their face. You can see somebody who is depressed, they might even have a poker face or a numb face, better said. So much more criminals, like the communists of this story. So much more that what I'm trying to say is they lost that joyful, that holy image of God. And I'm just trying to translate here as best as I can from Bulgarian language. The security was made from people in red bands across the shoulder. In other words, how communists wore those red bands, that's what they're describing, and they were considered security. Some of them actually pushed Father Alexander back so that he would not suffer the same death. I'm sorry. It says some of them actually pushed his son, so Stefan, Father Alexander's son, Stefan, back so that he would not suffer the same death as his father. I think that's interesting, to include that kind of information here, detail. Nonetheless, the young boy, torn apart from his lacerating pain and love for his father, did not get scared, but he stayed, he endured. He responded to them by saying, "Wherever my father goes, I go as well." So now Father Alexander dwells indeed in the heavenly realms along with his son Stefan. This is what my resource book informs us, and I am including that resource, as I've done in the previous videos, in the comments section. So I will continue now with another saint that we have for the same date. This is on Holy Martyr Ivan of Slavjanovo. We commemorate him on October 6th according to the new calendar once again, or 20th according to the old calendar. So Father Ivan Nenkov was from the village of Kardam, which is in the Târgoviște region in Bulgaria. He served as a priest in Slavjanovo, again the same region. He was arrested again by the communists on September 10th, 1944. You can imagine that's the very next day after the Communist Party took over in Bulgaria. September 9th is when it overpowered the government, the country. Father Ivan did not care for politics. However, for the bare reason that he defended the faith, the Orthodox Christian faith, when attacked by local atheists, he turned out to be subject to dislike and discomfort for the God-hating and God-battling political power. This is word for word translation in Bulgarian language. The correct way to say this is Bogoborческата власт. Bogobорчески is again a word that's created of two root words. Bog is God. Borba borчески is battle. So those who battle against God. So they decided to get rid of him, they being the communists, right? So Father Ivan was left in the basement of the village's municipality together with two others whom the communists had already arrested. He was left there until October 6th, 1944. On that day, the communist atheists terribly beat those arrested individuals to the point of exhaustion, most likely so that they would not be able to defend themselves on the way to the place where they were going to be executed for their Orthodox Christian faith. They threw them like cattle, like animals, like brutal, like animals, to the butcher. The correct translation in Bulgarian should be, they threw them like cattle to be butchered. on the and they threw them on a horse cart. Then they took them to the region of Dol. I'm not familiar with it, but I bet that's in Bulgaria. That's where they finished them using, it says, kirki and lopati. These are basically farmer tools for digging in the soil. So anything that you can imagine that's, pretty heavy, you can work the earth with, that's the tools they used. And so as to not make any noise, that the new communist power or leadership would not be compromised, they took them that far away, right? So that the villagers wouldn't talk about their brutality. It promised, after all, that Communist Party, that false bright future to the people, right? It promised that everybody was going to gain equality and brotherhood, and everything was going to be great. Of course, that's a joke. The hatred of the anti-Christian communists did not end here. They destroyed, bringing down or leveling to the ground the priest's house with an excavator or a bulldozer. That would be a better word. With a bulldozer, they destroyed his house, and so his house was quickly turned into a pile of dust. What is miraculous about that event is that on top of that pile of dust and dirt from the destruction of his house, the holy priest Martyrs' picture or his image actually stood on top. It was visible from a great distance. From there, they say, just like from a holy icon, he blessed all, both the good and the bad, for the righteous, both the righteous and the sinful, his own murderers, his enemies. We can only bless and pray. That's it. So this is the Orthodox Christian spirit as well, just as Christ taught. And no, this does not mean that we should only pray for murderers and sinful people. We also pray for the afflicted, for the sick, for the victims of abuse. And I say that because I'm contrasting. I'm still mindful of the contrast between the East and the West. There is one more that I will cover in another part in a little bit. So bear with me. Thank you so much. For now, I'm going to end it here. I hope that this finds you well. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so that you may receive more videos if you're interested in that kind of information. I hope this finds you well. Bye now.